Top 10 Best Things to Do in New York City in 2022. New York City is a wonderful city in the United States of America. 1. Say hello to the Statue of Liberty. The Statue of Liberty is the most well-known landmark in America. Every first-time visitor's itinerary of things to do in New York includes a visit to the Statue of Liberty, America's most recognized icon. It was a gift from France to the United States. Built in 1886, it is a global symbol of liberty and one of America's most popular tourist sites. It is one of the world's tallest monuments, standing just under 152 feet tall from base to torch and weighing over 450,000 pounds. From land, the statue is visible, with particularly great views from Battery Park on Manhattan's southern tip. 2. Take a stroll through Central Park. A stroll, pedal, or carriage ride through Central Park's crisscrossing pathways is a must-do on anyone's New York City bucket list. You may even lace up your skates and glide over Wallman Rink in the winter. One of the things that makes New York such a lovely and pleasant city is this massive park in the city center, which is a half-mile broad and 2.5 miles long. A European-style garden with lovely fountains and statues, Belvedere Castle, a modest castle with wonderful views positioned at the park's highest point, and Bethesda Terrace with its fountain, an architectural masterpiece where you may shoot some great images. 3. Discover All Rockefeller Center and top of the Rock observation deck. The New York skyline and views from the summit of the Rock, at the top of Rockefeller Center, including night vistas, are not to be missed. The 70-story 30 Rockefeller Plaza, an Art Deco skyscraper with awesome views over Manhattan from the famous top of the Rock observation deck, is the centerpiece of this vast entertainment and shopping complex in the heart of Manhattan. It is home to NBC TV and other media, but the centerpiece is the 70-story 30 Rockefeller Plaza, an Art Deco skyscraper that offers awesome views over Manhattan from the famous top of the Rock observation deck. 4. Get cultured in New York's best museums. The Metropolitan Museum of Art is a New York City public art museum. The Metropolitan Museum of Art, sometimes known as the Met, was founded in 1870 and is one of America's most well-known museums. The permanent collection of the Metropolitan Museum of Art has around 2 million works of art spanning 5,000 years. Despite having 3 sites, the Met Fifth Avenue is the museum's center point. Housing Chinese calligraphy books, cuneiform writing tablets, Egyptian mummies, European monarchs' armor, musical instruments, and a jaw-dropping collection of artworks. The collection's attractions include American decorative arts, weaponry and armor, costumes, Egyptian art, musical instruments, paintings, and much more. 5. Enjoy a Broadway show in the theater district. New York is a city that exists only for the purpose of providing entertainment. It's no accident that Broadway musicals and theatrical productions are internationally renowned and a draw for tourists. One of the most popular things to do in New York City is to see a Broadway performance. This is the spot to view the most recent plays as well as long-running classics, as it is considered the pinnacle of American theater. The term Broadway theater is commonly used to refer to a huge number of theatrical venues throughout the theater district and along Broadway itself. 6. Brooklyn Bridge, the longest suspension bridge in the world. The Brooklyn Bridge is one of the city's most famous monuments, with its Gothic-shaped arches and suspension cables inspiring generations of poets, musicians, and artists. This historic bridge, which connects Manhattan and Brooklyn across the East River, was the world's first steel suspension bridge when it opened in 1883. Many boats on the east side of Manhattan provide views of it. But the best way to see it is to take an hour and stroll across the Brooklyn Bridge. Only walkers and bicycles have access to a wood plank boardwalk that runs over the traffic lanes. If you don't feel like trekking the entire distance, at the very least make it to the first pillar, where there is an observation platform, and rest. One of the granite towers may be seen up close. Beautiful views of Manhattan, the East River, and the Statue of Liberty may be seen from the bridge. Riding over the bridge is another alternative, however pedestrian traffic may be strong on peak days, making cycling sluggish and difficult. Keep in mind that the bridge's entrance is set back from the water's edge. 7 Fifth Avenue. Fifth Avenue is America's most well-known shopping avenue, and it is home to many of world's most well-known designers and flagship businesses. This upscale boulevard is lined with Cartier, Tiffany, Bergdorf Goodman, the iconic Apple Store. Fifth Avenue, and of course Saks Fifth Avenue, among many others. A stroll Fifth Avenue is enjoyable for shoppers and non-shoppers alike. The idle region is between 60th Region and 40th Region, which runs roughly from the south end of Central Park to the New York Public Library. 8 Times Square. Times Square, which is lined with massive, brightly illuminated billboards and displays, is the place to be in New York in the evening, but it's also fascinating at any time of day. New York's New Year's Eve celebrations take place here, including the famed ball drop at midnight, when the square and surrounding streets are packed with people. Times Square is bustling and often packed, and has its own distinct attraction. The bleachers at one end are a fantastic location to relax and take in the scenery. Longacre Square was renamed Times Square in 1904 after the New York Times Tower. In 1928, the newspaper became the first in the world to display current headlines on a moving sign. 9 Grand Central Terminal. Grand Central Terminal, often known as Grand Central Station, is a magnificent Beaux Arts structure that is well worth a visit. The structure initially built in 1913 as a subway and train station terminal. The colonnaded facades on 42nd Street and the statues on top are some of the main attractions on the outside. You can't miss the grand staircase on the inside, where you may take a break and look out over the concourse. A heavenly picture is depicted on the nicely repaired ceiling. Inside, you'll discover a wide variety of retail stores and eateries. 10 High Line. The High Line, a disused rail line that has been turned into an urban walking route above the city streets, is an intriguing and recently enlarged attraction in New York City. This one-of-a-kind linear public park is home to a diverse collection of plants and trees, many of which are native to the area. Many of these blossom in the spring. In most places, the park is ringed with glass railings, giving it a natural sense while yet providing spectacular views of the city. From Gansevoort Street on the south end, just south of West 13th Street, to West 34th Street on the north end, this oasis on Manhattan's west side runs parallel to 10th Avenue for the most part. It is accessible at several locations throughout the route, some of which have only stair access and others that have both stair and elevator access. Despite the fact that the High Line is only 2 to 3 levels above street level, the views of the city's architecture and lookouts over the streets provide a whole different viewpoint. Art installations, seats, and a sitting area with bleacher-style seating and a glass wall looking out into the city can be found throughout the path. The route is extensively utilized, and weekends may be very busy, yet it is still a pleasant getaway without the surrounding bustle. The Hudson Yards Overlook, known as the Vessel, near 34th Street, is one of the High Line's highlights.